the Gateway Arch in St. Louis. Has anyone ever been to the Gateway Arch? Has anyone ever heard about it or know what it stands for or even know where St. Louis is? Go ahead and turn to your partner and talk a little bit about the Gateway Arch and like what you know about it. Okay, so whenever I went and visited the Gateway Arch, I have a couple pictures that I took with my family. So here's a couple pictures that I can show you. This is me and my family in front of it. This is us outside a baseball game that we were going in St. Louis. This is just us looking at it and standing next to the Gateway. Now see, just like me and my family took this vacation to go visit the Gateway Arch, I want you to pretend that you are planning a trip for your family and you are all going to be able to go visit the Gateway Arch. And so I want you to first, before you can plan a trip, it's probably a good idea for you to know a little bit about it yourself so that your family doesn't think that like you're taking them somewhere where you don't even know yourself. So right here in Google Earth, we're just going to look at it. So this is just walking up to the steps. And there is the arch. Look how high it goes. This is like as if you're standing like right in front of it. So almost looking straight if you'll see it. See how large it is? This is just another symbol within our nation that is very important to us. What does it stand for? Like, why do you think that this big, gray, shiny arch, like, what do you think that it stands for? That's something that we'll be discussing later. Now, I want you to, you're able to work with your partner or you can work alone, whichever one you prefer. But I want you to take what you have learned and discussed here and go to this website. And right here, you're able to go and see all the different things that you can do, what the Gateway Arch is, what people go in there to visit for. You can actually even go to the top, like it talks about right here. And if you can't find a place where it tells you what the Gateway Arch is, I can just tell you. It's the centerpiece of the Jefferson National Expansion Memorial in St. Louis, Missouri. So it was built as a monument to the westward expansion of the United States, and it's actually 630 feet tall. So as with your partner or alone, whichever one you want, you can start working on what you would want to do when you went to go visit this with your family. Think of different things, different facts you may need to know that you can tell your family about to get them excited about it, and then just different things that you can do while you're visiting there rather than just taking pictures in front of the memorial.
Alright, class. So I'm very excited about the opportunity for our last one that we get to do. We are going to visit the Statue of Liberty. And for me, I have never been there. So I was so excited to be able to use Google Earth to get a better look of what the Statue of Liberty looks like. I think we've all seen pictures of what the Statue of Liberty is, but do we know the purpose of it? Do we know what she stands for? Do we know like how tall she is? Things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill out a KWL chart. So first of all, we're going to fill out what we know about the Statue of Liberty. So something that I would say is that she's kind of a figure of the United States' liberty, that we were free, right? That's what we kind of built her. So that's something I would put under the no column. So I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to fill out your no column. What do you know about the Statue of Liberty? Do you know where it is? Do you know what she stands for? It can be even something like what color she is, if the torch ever has fire coming out of it, things like that. Like whatever you want to put down what you know. I'll give you 5 minutes to do that.
Thank you.
Alright, so next we're going to fill out what we want to know. Something I would like to know is I want to know how tall the Statue of Liberty is. I have heard that she's really big, but in pictures, like the one that we have right here, just by looking at this picture, she doesn't look super tall because we don't really have a perspective to know how tall she is. So I want you to write down things that you want to know. Maybe you want to know, why was she green? Why didn't we put her in gold? Or something like that. So put down some things that you want to know. So go ahead, I'll give you about 5 minutes to do that. As for the rest of for teaching this part of the lesson, it really depends on what your students know and what they want to know. I have kind of some things that I want the kids to know by the end. I want them to know how tall she is. I want them to get a perspective of how big this monument is and like why it is a symbol of the United States. So I also want them to know the purpose of the Statue of Liberty. So why did we build it? But it really kind of depends on what the students want to know, and as a teacher, we'd address those needs. Okay, so I'm going back into the lesson. All right, class, let's share some things that we'd want to know. I'll write them up on the board, and we'll go ahead and fill them out. Now we're going to look at this picture here. We're going to get an up-close view of it because this picture says some really cool things. One of the things that we said we wanted to know is we wanted to know how tall the Statue of Liberty was. Now, if you look right here, it says the foundation of from the pedestal, so at the very bottom, all the way to the torch, the Statue of Liberty is 305 feet and 6 inches. So clearly, that's very tall. For me, that is a lot bigger than I expected. What's another thing we want to know? We also wanted to know how tall just the body of the Statue of Liberty was, and that was 111 feet and 6 inches. So if we think about that, class, I am only 5'3", so I wouldn't even come up to I wouldn't even make it to her toes, is my guess. So, just to kind of get a perspective of it, the statue, we also wanted to know what the Statue of Liberty stands for. The statue was a gift to the United States from the French people, and it's a female figure to represent the Roman goddess of freedom. And the torch the tablet that she's holding in her arm right here, it represents an American Declaration of Independence. So it just shows as soon as the United States became free, this was a gift that we got from the French that shows it's an icon of freedom of the United States and welcomes immigrants into arriving into this new place to live. And so she's facing out into the ocean because she's welcoming immigrants to come live in this place. So this is a really cool opportunity for us to visit that. There's also a video that we can watch, but we'll take some time to do that another time. But as a class, we can watch the video and see that. But we're going to do that after you've filled out what you've learned. So this will be kind of what we'll do to wrap it up. So then, as a class, we'll watch the video and finish